Hello, and these are the instructions for making a poetry mirror. It's inspired by this illustration in a book of poems by Nikki Giovanni, illustrated by Ashley Bryan. In your kit, you should have one extra large piece of construction paper, a piece of cardstock, two cut out pieces of cardstock, and a square of shiny material to be your mirror. There should also be some sample poetry. So when you put all the materials together, it'll look something like this. And we got the idea from looking at both this illustration and some kind of similar illustrations in another book that Ashley Bryan illustrated. So you can see that there's kind of a house shape surrounding the mirror, and the house shape is supported by these rectangular spaces underneath. And that looked similar to the shapes in this book. This is What a Wonderful World. And the idea behind that book is that some children are having a puppet show, and the puppet show goes along with the words to the song, What a Wonderful World. And so in that book, this shape is the puppet theater. In this book, I think you could call that shape sort of a frame for the mirror. So this is some instructions for how to put that together and some ideas for how to decorate it as a way to decorate your poem and have something for, and the poem that you place with your mirror will be reflected in the mirror. So you can go ahead and fold your paper in half. I've been making something that looks kind of like a folder or a case to put the other pieces in. You can center the large piece of cardstock on the right hand inside of the folder you've just created out of construction paper. You can go ahead and glue it down now, or if you think it would be easier to color your picture first and then glue it down later, you can go ahead and just arrange the shapes and then glue it all together when you're all done. So what I'm doing is lining up 3 elements with the cutout roof shape on the top, the mirror in the middle, and then a rectangular shape underneath the mirror. I'm going to go ahead and glue those in in place on the paper. And I'll hold this up close in the hopes that you can see it. You'll see the rectangular shape at the bottom, the mirror in the middle, and the roof shape at the top. And now for some ideas on how you can fill in that blank space with some color. Looking at the original illustration, you can pick out a couple of different things. At the top, you can see some shapes. So there are some star shapes on either side of the roof. You could think of these two curved shapes as the top of a heart. And immediately below the heart shapes, you'll see two faces facing each other. And there's a plain blue background on one side and a plain green background on the other side. The faces' mouths are open, maybe they're having a conversation. In the rectangle that's underneath the mirror, you can see some birds and some trees, so some shapes from nature. And underneath that, there's some houses, so something that people have made. And if you're not comfortable drawing, you can still decorate the house shape, the frame that you're building around your mirror. If you want to use this book as an example, you can see there are stripes of different colors in a row. There are some curves with the curve facing down and some curves with the curve facing up like a rainbow. There's blue in different shades where the sky might be. So you can make it as simple or as complicated as you like. And what you put in your illustrations might be related to the poem that you want to put facing your mirror. So you might want to use the same poem that was used in the book. This is a poem by Nikki Giovanni called I Am a Mirror. And she talks about family and about history. And maybe the pictures will make you think about family and about history when you look at them. I also found another poem by Nikki Giovanni, and this one is called Happy Birthday, Ashley Bryan. I thought it would be fun to use that one since he illustrated this book of her poems. And so this is a description partly about what he looks like, partly about his personality. You can also come up with your own poem. And whatever your poem is, you can think of what kinds of images would be a good reflection of that. What would make people think about the things that you have in your head when you're coming up with the poem, what would go with those ideas. Or you could find another poem that you would like to include in your folder here and come up with illustrations that you think would work well with it. And I hope you enjoy the project.